Hey there, adventurers! Welcome back to KonnichiWOW, where we delve into everything mesmerizing about Japan. Today, we're stepping off the beaten path and venturing into the historical city of Nara. If you're an animal lover or a culture vulture, stick around because you won't want to miss why Nara Deer Park is, well, full of deer. Welcome to Nara, Japan's first permanent capital and a city of enormous cultural and historical significance. You see, long before Tokyo and even before Kyoto, Nara was the heart of Japan. Founded in the year 710 AD, it served as Japan's capital for most of the 8th century under the name Heijo-kyo. This era, known as the Nara period, was a transformative time for Japan, seeing the introduction of Buddhism and the establishment of a codified system of laws. The Nara period left an indelible imprint on Japan's cultural landscape. From the architectural wonders like Todaiji Temple to ancient scriptures and literature like the Manyoshu, Nara became the epicenter of Japan's intellectual and spiritual pursuits. Fast forward to today, and Nara has gracefully balanced its ancient heritage with the demands of the modern world. While it may no longer be the political capital, it remains a capital of culture, history, and yes, adorable deer. Given its incredible history, it's no wonder Nara is home to some of Japan's most important national treasures and World Heritage Sites. Every year, millions of people from around the world visit this remarkable city, not just for its rich past, but for the living history that you can see, touch, and even feed right out of the palm of your hand. And speaking of palms and feeding, let's transition to the creatures that have made Nara famous in its own unique way. The ever-curious, ever-graceful, and sometimes cheeky deer of Nara. But these aren't just any deer, they're messengers of gods and symbols of the city's spiritual pulse. So, how did that come to be? Well, strap in, because the history is as captivating as the deer themselves. To truly understand the significance of these charming creatures in Nara, we need to dive into the spiritual background. You see, Shintoism, one of Japan's major religions, plays a significant role in how the deer are viewed. In Shinto beliefs, deer are considered kami, or divine spirits. That's right. These deer aren't just frolicking around for the heck of it, they are considered sacred messengers of the gods. The story goes back to a legend tied to Kasuga Shrine, one of Nara's most important Shinto shrines. According to folklore, a god named Takumi Kazuchi arrived in Nara on a white deer to guard the newly built capital. From that moment, the deer in Nara have been considered divine protectors, not just of the city but of the country as well. Imagine carrying that level of responsibility on your four-legged shoulders. So, you see, the spiritual link between Nara's residents and the deer goes beyond mere fascination or affection, it's embedded in the ethos of the city. But it's not just the Shinto faith that venerates them. Buddhism, which coexists in Nara, also holds deer in high regard. In Buddhist symbolism, the deer represent harmony, peace, and longevity. But what happens when spirituality meets legality? Here's where it gets interesting. The deer in Nara are considered a natural monument, protected by the government. In the past, harming one of these deer was a serious offense, sometimes even punishable by death. Nowadays, the penalties aren't as severe, but the laws illustrate how deeply ingrained this reverence for deer is in both law and society. Now, let's not forget the most visually appealing aspect of this relationship, the shika, or deer antler cutting ceremony, an annual tradition held at Kasuga Shrine. This event ensures the safety of both the deer and the humans who interact with them. And don't worry, it's a painless process for the deer, done with due respect and rituals that are a spectacle in themselves. This intertwined relationship between the deer, the spiritual beliefs, and the cultural practices of Nara creates a unique socio-spiritual ecosystem unlike any other. It's not merely coexistence, it's a deep, mutual respect that has stood the test of time. The deer are an inseparable part of Nara's identity, its history, and its ever-evolving narrative. Now let's get to the part you've probably been waiting for. What's it like to actually interact with these divine, four-legged locals? Spoiler alert, it's magical, but it's also more complex than you might think. Whether you're strolling through Nara Park, visiting temples, or even walking down city streets, chances are you'll encounter these friendly herbivores. And while they're wild animals, they're used to human interaction, which makes the experience exceptionally unique. One of the most iconic experiences in Nara is feeding the deer with shika senbei, or deer crackers. These special crackers are made just for them, nutritious and safe. But be prepared. Once the deer know you have treats, they will become your best friends, or your most persistent followers. It's not uncommon to be surrounded by a herd of deer, all politely bowing for a snack. That's right, these deer have manners. But remember, while it may look like a fun feeding frenzy, there's a certain etiquette to follow. These aren't your average pets. They're considered divine messengers, remember? Always approach them calmly and respectfully. Sudden movements or loud noises are a no-go. The aim here is peaceful interaction, resonating with the spiritual significance they hold in the community. Besides feeding, you'll often see people taking selfies, petting the deer, or simply sitting and observing them. Some deer have become local celebrities in their own right, famous for the unique markings or quirky behaviors. Don't be surprised if a particular deer has its own dedicated fan base, and maybe even an Instagram account. Now, what's truly incredible is how these interactions transcend cultural and linguistic barriers. Whether you're a local resident or a tourist from the other side of the globe, the experience of engaging with Nara's deer is universally heartwarming. It's as if the deer, in their divine wisdom, bring people closer to each other and to the spirit of Nara itself. However, it's important to note that not all interactions are fluffy and picture-perfect. These deer are wild animals, and they have their moods. There have been instances of deer getting a bit too eager for food, or occasionally showing signs of aggression. So, while they're generally friendly, always remember to give them their space and approach with caution. But what does the future hold for Nara's divine deer? Let's unpack that. There's no denying that tourism has been a double-edged sword for Nara. On the one hand, the influx of visitors brings essential funds to the city, helping to maintain public spaces and historical sites, including habitats for the deer. On the other hand, increased human interaction poses challenges. And then there's the digital age, where everyone wants that perfect, Instagrammable moment with the deer. While it's fun and often harmless, the quest for the ideal selfie can sometimes lead to stress for the animals. Let's not forget, they're not just tourist attractions, they're a vital part of Nara's spiritual and cultural fabric. They're deserving of respect and space. The city and local organizations are keenly aware of these challenges. Initiatives have been rolled out to educate visitors about proper conduct around the deer. These range from informative signs and public service announcements to volunteers who patrol Nara Park, ensuring both deer and humans are coexisting peacefully. Conservation efforts are also in full swing. Veterinary checks, population studies, and habitat restoration projects are regularly undertaken to make sure the deer are healthy and thriving. And it's not just a local effort. International experts are sometimes consulted to ensure the best care for Nara's treasured inhabitants. But what about the future? Well, as the world continues to change, adaptability will be key. There's talk of leveraging technology, like apps that could educate tourists in real time or even virtual reality experiences that can simulate interaction with the deer. The goal is to preserve the sanctity of this unique relationship while adapting to modern needs. In many ways, the story of Nara's deer is a microcosm of broader themes in Japan, where tradition and modernity coexist in a delicate balance. So, the next time you find yourself in Nara, feeding a bowing deer or simply admiring them from a distance, remember, you're not just part of a tourist attraction, you're part of a centuries-old legacy. A legacy that teaches us about respect, coexistence, and the awe-inspiring beauty of life in all its forms. Well, we've taken a fascinating journey today. From the ancient tales of Kasuga Shrine to the Instagram feeds of modern-day tourists, all through the eyes, or rather, the hooves, of Nara's iconic deer. But before we wrap up, let's go over some practical tips for your own adventure in Nara. Firstly, timing is everything. Remember, weekends and holidays can get crowded, so plan accordingly. Next, let's talk snacks. The deer snacks, that is. Only feed them the approved shika senbei crackers, which you can buy from vendors around the park. And please, oh please, don't feed them human food. It's bad for their health and can disrupt their natural behavior. If you're looking to capture that perfect photo, patience is your best friend. Deer are curious creatures, but they're also wild animals. Maintain a respectful distance, approach them calmly, and let them come to you. Your patience will pay off, both in photos and in memories. For those of you interested in diving deeper into the history and spirituality surrounding the deer, guided tours are available. These tours offer a wealth of knowledge and often include visits to nearby temples and shrines, helping you fully understand the intricate relationship between the deer and the city of Nara. Whether you're planning a trip or just enjoyed this virtual journey, we hope you leave with a newfound appreciation for Nara's divine deer and the intricate tapestry of beliefs, customs, and laws that protect them. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and as always, stay curious.